Hello and welcome to Ijaz's POV. So today we are talking about a very important and sensitive topic, the decriminalization of suicide attempts in India. For many years, people who survived a suicide attempt were seen as criminals under the law. But now things are changing with the new law, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. In this episode, we will discuss what the old and new law says, why this change matters. So to discuss on these things, we have Mr. Magesh Kanna from 3MMC. Hello Magesh.
Hey Jas, thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining us. So let's get started. What did IPC 309 say about suicide attempts? Can you
Uh,
explain on this? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I'm just reading it out what it basically says in the law.
Hmm.
Whoever attempts to commit suicide or does any act towards the commission of such offense shall he or she punished with simple imprisonment for a term, which may extend to an year or with fine or with both. Which basically, in very simple terms, it means if someone tries to kill themselves but failed, they could be punished by going to jail up to 1 year or by paying a fine.
Oh, this is horrible. Why did the law punish people who tried to commit suicide?
So for this, we have to go back in history. So like back again in 1860, when the British drafted the Indian Penal Code, the lawmakers carried over a Victorian era English ideas that treated suicide as a crime rather than a personal or mental health struggle. At that time in England too, suicide was illegal, seen as moral sin and even threat to social order. So anyone attempting suicide could punished with jail or fine based on the belief that state had a duty to preserve life and fear of punishment might deter people.
So, to be precise, what does the new law BNS say about trying to kill yourself? Is it still a crime? Can you tell more about this?
So basically, BNS, the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, is India's new criminal law that came into effect on July 1st, 2024, replacing the colonial era Indian Penal Code of 1860. It uses simple language and introduced modern provisions like recognizing digital records and transgender identity. The law adds new offenses such as mob lynching, organized crime, terrorism, and snatching, while also consolidating protections for women and children. It brings reforms like zero FIRs, e-summons, faster timelines for investigation, witness protection, and even community services for minor crimes. So suicide attempts are now decriminalized except when used to pressure public officials, reflecting a shift from punishment to reform. Overall, the BNS aims to make India's criminal justice system faster, fairer, and more on tune with today's realities.
Got it. So, I'm just curious to know about this thing. So, in films like Onion, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, I know where you're getting.
Yeah. So it's in Hindi called Aparichit. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's called Aparchit. Yeah.
Aparichit. Okay. So in that movie, the protagonist almost takes his own life, but pulls back because he sees himself as a strict law abider, and suicide was a criminal offense under IPC 309. So how would that scene or similar movie moments play out differently now that attempting suicide has been decriminalized under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita?
That's a fascinating thought because cinema often mirrors laws and social norms of its time. In Onion or Aperture, the character doesn't go through suicide not because of inner healing, but because of his rigid respect for the law, which at that time criminalized suicide attempts. If the same story was told again today, the law would no longer hold him back. Since under the new BNS law, suicide attempts aren't punishable except for some reasonable restrictions. That means the character's turning point would have come to more of a personal, emotional, or moral struggle than fear of punishment or under these things.
That's well said. And I have one last question, Magesh.
Mhm.
What role did doctors, experts, and constitutional debates play in shaping the new law on suicide attempts in the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita?
Well, doctors and mental health experts were amongst the earliest to argue suicide attempts should not be treated as crimes, but as signs of severe distress needing care. The Law Commission reinforced this view in multiple reports, calling Section 309 of the IPC inhumane. Constitutionally, the debate played out in the courts in the first case of P. Ratinam's 1994, where Supreme Court struck down the law saying right to life included the right to not live. And then in Gian Kaur's 1996 case, where a larger bench reversed that but still acknowledged suicide as a mental health issue. This evolving mix of medical insight and constitutional reasoning led to the Mental Health Act of 2017, which presumed anyone attempting suicide were under severe stress and shouldn't be punished. And this led to this finally shaped the BNS Nyaya Sanhita 2023, which decriminalized suicide attempts altogether.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So I got to learn something from you today. This was one best insightful podcast. And that's it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, just for having me. It was really we had a very thoughtful conversation earlier on making this podcast as well. So I had to appreciate you for that efforts.
It's my pleasure. So, yes, guys, until next podcast, this is Ejo signing off. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.